Is it possible to make a lot of money trading?
I've made millions trading, but what a lot of people don't understand, people will say like, oh, it's because this, it's not. The biggest thing is capital. People don't realize like I have millions and millions of dollars in a trading account where I trade. So like I'll make 30, 40K in one day on a trade, but on $1 million account, that's, it could be like 5, 10%. It could be even 2%. I made 1% on my account. It could be, 20K depending on my account size. So people always have this misconception of like, they're going to come in and make 40K because I do it. But it's like, no, if you're not going to put a $5 million account together, you're not going to go and make 50K a day on average. Like, you're just not going to do that.
Yeah.
Aim for more realistic goals. Maybe you risk 1 to 2%, go for 5, 6% wins. Let's say the average person comes in with $10,000, 5% win is $500. You're risking $100 to $200. Like, that's more realistic. But even the average person, unfortunately, doesn't have 10K to come in with. So that's where a lot of people get this weird misconception of like, I'm going to come in, I'm going to get rich fast, it's going to be easy. It's like, no, I've been trading for 7 years now. And in those years, I've taken accounts from small amounts to medium amounts. I've compounded. I've made money other places online, had online businesses make money, took the money from those businesses, threw them into a trading account, and continue to grow that account. So that way, okay, if I have a 20% month where I made 20% on my account, it can be, a couple $100,000 instead of 3,000-4,000. So you got to understand that capital has to be involved. You have to have a lot of money to make a lot of money. And it's not it's very hard to do. It's not a simple way to make money because you can do it from your phone or your computer from home. That doesn't make it easy. It's actually way harder than you think. So
how much of it is luck when you're doing this trading stuff? Like, is there a system you can put into place to systematically make money, or is it really just kind of how much of it is luck?
It's definitely not luck. Some people do go on there and gamble. You can gamble, of course. You can gamble with anything in life, but it's not gambling because the way I trade is based off statistics, and I also use a hell of a strategy. I trade only at 6:30 in the morning, right when volume comes in. I try to trade breakouts. What that means is I try to get in right when that push comes, whether it's the upside or downside. When that main push comes, whether it's from news, technical analysis, whatever the case may be, I'm getting in right away, and I have good risk to rewards. So like I said, if I'm risking 1 to 2% on my account, let's say it's 5K, I want to aim for a 1 to 4, which would be 4 times more on a win. So if I'm going to lose 5K that day, I'm going to try to at least make 20K if it wins. And then let's say I take a couple losses, minus 10K. The next day I come and I get 1 win. That 1 win's 20K. A couple losses is 10, so I'm still up 10. So it's not luck. It's just having good risk management, good risk to rewards, and not risking your entire account on trade, because a lot of people do come in and they let me risk everything I have and just try to turn $100 into 10 grand a day, which is, for one, that's impossible. You don't have enough leverage in the markets to turn 100 to 10 grand. But yeah, it's far from luck. But I will say a lot of people, 99% of traders will come in and say like, okay, let me try to get lucky, which not going to get lucky. The markets are going to win 99% of the time.
How do you decide on what a good trade is going to be for a day? What are some of your strategies?
For me, like I said, it's just breakouts. It's not complex. It's a simple strategy, but it's just breakouts. And all that really is I wait for the markets to open. I see where we're at. I see what news events we have. And then I just wait for something called support resistance breaks. I look for a zone where price typically isn't breaking through, and I wait for price to break through that zone. And when it does, I just try to get in with the break. Not always, but potentially when price does break through a zone that it hasn't been able to break through for a while, it does take off. So that's all I try to do. And then I just typically have my stop loss below the breakout zone, and I target a 1 to 4 every single day. Only during New York session though, and usually US 30. And that's it. Every single day though, never ends.
So is there a time when you started understanding this and shit started like popping off?
Yeah. So
was it a slow grind?
Of course. I started trading when I was 16. By the time I was 18 and a half, I started to make money. So that's 2.5 years of nothing, like 2.5 years of losing every single day. Like, I mean, of course I'd have a week, oh, it's possible, or it was possible. It was profitable. It felt good. A couple weeks go by, I blew it all. Put more money in. A couple weeks go by, same thing over and over again. And that process took 2 years, bro. But I would come back and forth, right? I would come off from trading for a while, go do other ventures in life, try to make money other places. I had to feed my kids. And then I would come back and, try to learn again. And it took me 2.5 years of off and on grinding to finally understand the markets and actually get good at trading or decent at trading. From there, this is where I'm not going to say I got lucky, but I got lucky, because from there I started to develop a strategy that worked, teach a strategy that worked, Started doing classes, courses, whatever the case may be, and I did make a lot of money off those courses. I'm never afraid to admit that. I made a lot of money off teaching. And when I took that money from teaching and I put it into an account and started to trade with a lot of money, I mean, that's where I got lucky because I had so much capital to trade with because I was doing other things, which it's not an excuse for nobody out there because, I mean, you shouldn't limit yourself. You can go, you don't have to teach people, but you can go, do this or that. A lot of ways to make money in this world. Get yourself some money, compound it together, and then add it to your account. But again, I got lucky. I made hundreds of thousands, put them into an account, and then I was able to grow accounts even faster. So that did help me a lot.
Yeah.
In the long term. But
so you were just kind of like consistent grinding on YouTube every day. How often are you posting?
So I was posting probably every when I first started blowing up, every couple of days, every few days. Eventually, it got to once a week, and now it's like once every 2 weeks. But it was at one point when I was at my highest, once a week. Every Monday I would post, and that was a lot of work, a lot of grinding, but it was a lot of fun. It was my most enjoyable times, just like grinding, making YouTube videos and watching the comments and people so happy and we love you and man, you're my inspiration. Like it just kept going. It just motivated me to keep going.
Yeah.
Love that shit.
In the beginning, you were probably posting with no viewers, right?
In the very beginning, nothing. I remember my first couple of videos, like 80 views, 300 views. Then it started to get to thousands of views within the first couple of weeks. It happened fast for me. I would say typically you don't blow up as fast as I did. I kind of started doing YouTube, and I was getting like 10 to 20,000 views a video within the first like month. And then within the first 6 months, I was getting 40, 50,000 views. Damn. Some videos got 100,000 views. That's when I started to realize, okay, people like me. They enjoy my teaching. I was teaching for free at that point. People were really making money off me for free. That's when I started to sell things. I started to charge people for my signals where I would actually, send my trades out to people and make money from that. And that blew up, bro. I'm going to be honest with you. I was doing like $250,000 a month at one point. Wow. Just off of that. A little bit deeper. I'd say like a year in. But, yeah. I bought my first car right before I got on YouTube. I bought a Camaro, which was like $35,000. I put $10K down from trading. That helped. People were like, oh, he made money from trading. And then that kind of boosted me. Then people started to join. And then I started to just do the selling stuff, and I'm not ashamed of that at all. I mean, $250,000 a month, I don't care. It was great, and I sold good stuff. That's why I'm still valid to this day, and I'm still loved so much to this day.
What are some ways that people like just getting started, like looking to make some money? Have they had any like easy types of ways that you can kind of generate some revenue just getting started?
Easy ways to make money?
Yeah. Is it possible to make money easy?
Of course. There's a lot of easy ways to make money. The biggest thing is starting up smaller businesses. I've seen things like this guy, his name is Jordan Welch on YouTube. He just did a small business, a great example. He went and during the Christmas time, he was buying Christmas trees, like the actual real trees, and then he would basically resell them for around the cost of the tree plus installing them. Bro was making like a good $200 a tree, $180 a tree on the bigger trees, $50 to $100 on the smaller trees. It sounds like stupid, but it's that simple. Yeah. Do that for a couple weeks, maybe do that for a month. You got yourself a few $1,000s. Start yourself an e-commerce store. There's a lot of ways to make money, and especially with social media, bro. Like you can run TikTok ads and run a store up on Shopify. Like you really, really can. And I don't even do that. I don't even touch that stuff. But I'm so plugged in. I have people who do that, and I've watched them go and make $2,000-$3,000 a day on like some shoes that they created or something crazy. And it's just by making silly little TikTok ads that little kids are enjoying, and they're asking, like, can we swipe that card, Mom? And they go and they swipe the card, and things like that. So there's so many ways to make money. I can't even sit here and explain them, but I would say smaller businesses where you could be reselling stuff, you could be setting stuff up in someone's home, you could be doing landscaping. There's a lot of little things you can do. I did landscaping when I was 16, and I made a few hundred a day, and I was just doing people's yards, doing hustling like that. Yard sales, you can go to yard sales, you can buy and resell items for more. Go to a yard sale, get a great deal on some old school phone, buy $30, sell it for $76. That's profit. And eventually those profits add up and you reinvest into another business. The biggest thing that people have to understand is, like, let's say you do something like that. For example, you go and you resell stuff, you make $500, you make $1,000. You then have to take that leap. That's where it gets scary. You have to take that $1,000 and invest into something new that can potentially make you more money, but you could also potentially lose it all or break even, or at worst lose everything that you put into it. But without taking those leaps, you're not going to know if that new business has profitable ways. So I think that is the hardest part for most people. Oh, I made this amount of money. I stacked up. Even if you work at, I don't care if you work at Taco Bell or you work at McDonald's, whatever, you're saving your money. You take that lump sum of money, invest it into some type of business. Start a Shopify store, run ads, do something, start trading. Risk that money. Otherwise, you're going to continue to save working the same job. What are you going to save 10 grand in a couple of years working at McDonald's? It's bad. It's actually really bad. So just take that little bit of money, start some type of shop, start another income source and try to make more money, because one income source is not usually enough unless it's something that pays really well and you can really master it. But I think that it does make sense to try different things. There's so many opportunities out there. You don't have to stick to one niche. Try everything.
Yeah.
Dabble here, dabble there. Try sports betting. Try something like that, because there's actually, I do know people who sports bet for a living and they're actually good. That's probably not a good example. Let's cut back on that. Don't try sports betting. That was stupid. But there is a lot of ways to make money. Don't do no betting or nothing like that. So that's horrible advice. Started good, it ended kind of bad. But.
So talk to me about one of your biggest failures.
One of my biggest failures. So we can talk about the business I started. I started a sports card business. So what sports cards are, they're cards that have NBA players. I mean, back in the day, people, baseball cards, things like that. So they still have those, basketball now, football, they have UFC now, things like that, autographs, all that. They have a business online where you can sell spots. And it gets complicated. But basically, people can pay for you to open boxes of cards for them. They pay a fee plus 20%, whatever the case may be. You open up the sports card on camera, you show them the cards, you ship them to them. That's as simple as I can explain it. So this is a business that does well. I know people who do it. I've talked to them. They make millions doing this. And I said, okay, let me join this. Let me do this, because I actually enjoy sports cards. I have a passion for it as well. So I get an office, $200K right off the jump for 2 years.
No business started. You just got an office.
I just got the office. Whew. $200K right off the jump for the first 2 years. I'm like, okay, if things don't work out, I can use this office anyways. Okay. $200K off the jump. I get product. $200K off the jump. So I got $200K into the office, $200K into product, which is cards, pre-orders, things like that. Okay, so we take that $400K right there. The other $100K, I just have a way for employees, camera equipment, live streaming stuff. So they're live streaming every day, and it's mostly employees. They were really expensive. I think I was paying like $15 to $20K a month just for the 4 guys that I had, and they would just break or open cards on camera. Here's the issue, and this is a lesson that I learned. I could have definitely prevented this, but I didn't realize what was going on in the current markets, because there's markets for everything. There's markets for sports cards. So there's a company called Panini who creates these cards, right? They manufacture all these cards. There's Panini and there's Topps. Panini was losing the rights to football, basketball, mostly football, but football and basketball soon. So they're losing the rights to being connected to the actual NBA or the NFL, so they're unable to get autographs now. So all the big players, and this is how you make your money. When you open these boxes, you're going for rookie cards of like the big NFL QBs who are coming out, or like Victor, what's his name? Victor Wembanyama, whatever his name is. Dude's supposed to be like the next Michael Jordan. So you want his cards. That's where you're opening for. So you can get those rookie cards like Mickey Mantle back in the day or Michael Jordan. He's not signing this year, and neither are any of the NFL players, because Panini doesn't have the rights to their autographs, because they are a part of the NBA. The NBA has those rights. The NFL has those rights. So all year, and this was known. I just didn't look into it. I didn't do my research. They're not signing. They're not going to be in those cards. So those boxes, they lost their values. So I bought $200K worth of cards that are now worth, I don't know, maybe $100,000. So it's not 50% down, whatever. Maybe even $150K. So not horrible. But it doesn't matter what they're worth, because nobody's buying them. Nobody's buying the boxes now. So I can't even get people to break and actually get in on these box purchases. So took that L there. Can't afford to pay I can afford out of my pocket, which is even a bigger L. So I can't afford to pay these guys with money coming in, because no money's coming in from the business. It was a scratch. So